What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another live stream. Today, joined by Jason CaptNiner. How we doing?
Not much, dude. Just doing another day. Friday. It's a long week at work, so just ready to chill. Talk some Niners football. It's either going to be one of the greatest stress releases I have, or it's going to give me to an early death. I haven't quite decided how talking
Uh,
Niners is going to work out for me sometimes.
yeah, it's been a long week too. Just finally finished a midterm before I got on here. Um, but yeah, I'm just glad I have a couple days to rest now on the weekend and the rest of
Yep.
today.
And we're going into a
But
busy
yeah.
time with our work, so because
Mm,
the weather's been crappy for like a month here, and
mhm.
this week was the first nice week we've had. So everybody's like, "Hey, let's turn on our sprinklers."
It's so funny because the opposite's been here in Arizona, where it's like we had 3 weeks of winter and then it's been hot the rest of
Yeah,
the
and
time.
your guys' sprinkler systems down there is probably all above ground. It's easy. Like all of our stuff that we do up here, we have to dig into the ground in case it freezes and everything. So it's
Yeah,
a
that's
whole different
fair.
animal.
Yeah. Also, I guess I'll kind of bring this up as you guys probably notice, made some changes for the stream.
Looks
So
good.
yeah,
What
we
did you
finally
move to a
got
different room, or did you just get a light?
no. My desk was facing like this way before, so then that's why you'd always see my bed.
Hmm.
So I just changed the rotation of
Sometimes
my
that's because
bed. Yeah.
this desk used to be over here where my wife's is over here, and it
Mhm.
looked crappy, and like it was the same situation you were having where it was like too bright and you got lost in the light and all that kind of stuff. And then I moved it over here, and all of a sudden it's so much better. So but yeah, it looks
Yeah.
really good now.
Yeah. So I switched that and then I got a ring light. So that's really doing the magic for the
So
lighting.
I've got my light up here and then the lamp on. Just a
Yeah.
$20 lamp I think I've had for like 40 years that I bought it like a thrift shop.
Yeah, because it's like this room, even with the like when it is not dark, it's just still not great. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I'll just get a nice little ring light. But yeah, let's jump into it. So I'm sure you've kind of talked about free agency a little bit. So we're still
Mhm.
going over free agency, but we're going to go more into what's happening around the entire NFC West and kind of
Mhm.
who we think improved, maybe took a dip, where we kind
Can I
of think
say
teams stand.
can
So,
I say I'm not really impressed with the other teams without saying much into it.
yeah.
Overall, I'm gonna say I'm not impressed with what the other teams have done.
Yeah. So let's jump into it. So I'm gonna bring up the little slideshow Jason put on over here. So again, we got the Chiefs West, and obviously we know exactly why. We'll be getting
It's
into that.
it's easy, it's the pipeline, and it goes back and forth actually. So we've got
Mhm.
that. Then we got us, the 49ers, with the great wide receiver reset. I mean, we we knew it had to happen,
Yeah.
and it's better than I thought it would be. I thought we were just going to go completely young and just maybe not get a vet, but we'll talk about that. And we got
Yep. And then we
the
got the team that's over near me, the Desert Delusionals, and then we've got the team near Jason, the
yep,
Super Bowl hangover Seahawks.
who
So
seem to be putting all their eggs into the fact that they are going to go 100% on Sam Darnold. What's up,
what's
Mr.
going on,
McNiner? How you doing,
David?
brother?
Appreciate you. So yeah, let's jump into it. I guess I'm assuming we're starting off with the Rams here. Oh no, we're
Nope,
starting with the Cardinals.
I
Okay.
didn't put. It wouldn't let me change it. I guess so. So obviously we got up first is we've got the Rams. They've had a major overhaul. They fired Gannon. They brought in
Or sorry, the
Mike
Cardinals. Yeah.
or the Cardinals. Yeah, they got rid of Gannon, who I didn't. It's like I feel like he was hamstrung with Kyler Murray. Like
Hmm.
I think like I'm more worried about the Cardinals going forward without Kyler Murray than I am with them with Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Because I've always felt even the
Because
games he played, he good against
Mhm.
us. I never feared Kyler Murray.
Yeah. But I'm also not really shocked because if you look, right, they drafted Rosen, and then
Mhm.
obviously that didn't work out. And then
Nope.
they get a new
But
head coach in Gannon. Was it Gannon that they
was it?
was it a different? I feel like it might have been a different coach. I can't
Here's
remember.
my thing.
But anyways, they had a new coach, and then that's when that's when they had Kyler Murray because they had the first overall pick, and that's how we got Bosa right
Yeah.
in 2019. And then
Do
it's
you
like
think
okay, now
Rosen
they're
actually
getting
got a
a true.
chance?
No.
Is he, he had a bad roster to begin with. And then it
Yeah.
was instantly, okay, thank you, bye.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah. So.
keeping their defensive coach, Nick Morales, who I'm not sure if he still is, but I know at one point was the youngest coordinator in the actual league itself. So I'm not, like I said, don't know if he still is, but a few years ago he was, and no, he's probably going to be an NFL coach, probably before
Mhm.
2030. He will be an NFL head coach at some point.
Yeah. I think obviously they bring in LaFleur, who's now also bringing in the Niners tree, just like Seattle.
Yep.
Um,
We're just
you
rotating
know,
all of these guys right now.
yeah. But I don't know. It's just their roster's still not fantastic. I mean, what they're going with Gardner Minshew.
I love me some
At
Gardner.
the
I'm not gonna lie to you, I love Gardner Minshew.
I
And
mean
maybe it's
he's a
just
solid.
and maybe it's
He's
just because of like the
solid.
way his attitude and all that kind of stuff I
Mhm.
really do like. But I like Gardner
Yeah.
Minshew.
Yup. They did get a good offensive lineman in Isaac Sumalu, the guard from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tyler Algier, that was someone I actually was hoping that the Niners could have somehow
Yep. They got a
gotten.
nice
But
1-2 punch with him and Connor back there now.
yep. And then KB.
A little sad
Uh,
on that one. A little sad.
yeah, a little sad, but I'm not that mad. Roy Lopez, the defensive lineman from the University of Arizona. Um, Andrew Wingard, I'm not super familiar with him. Uh, Devin Duvernay.
Duvernay just,
I feel I feel like more of the returner. I know early on in his career with the Ravens, they used him quite a bit on offense, but that was also because their
it's kind of just a
wide
journeyman
receiver
at this
core.
point in his career.
Yeah. But
He
then yeah,
losses,
Kyler
obviously.
Murray.
Kyler
Yep.
Murray, they released him, signed with the Vikings. He's going to battle it out with what's his name up there now. And I don't know. We'll see how that works out for them.
Mhm.
Jalen Thompson, their safety, went to the Cowboys. Greg Dortch, who I actually kind of like, is like a third, I guess, like a really good third, fourth receiver. I wouldn't mind him. And then they also lost Kevin Beecham and Zay Jones as unrestricted, and they still have not yet returned.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think it's so tough to say because this division's so top heavy. It's like I have a hard
Yeah,
time seeing them making that much of a drastic difference.
and you'd have to see an amazing jump, whether it be from Jacoby Brissett or Gardner Minshew, for them to be considered, a threat to the top three. What's up, Mr. Steve-O Supremo? What's up, brother?
Up, Steve. Appreciate
Adios.
you guys. Make sure to hit that like button.
And like you had said earlier,
But
this roster is in
yeah,
such a disarray right now. There's just destroying.
yeah.
There's just not much talent at any position. Well,
To,
maybe running back.
yeah. To me, I feel like it's at the ownership level at this point.
100%.
Really is where the issues because it's just the bad roster building, the bad drafts. It's just it's hard for me to ever see them now like actually compete.
So you live there. So
Mhm.
when they talk about like the ownership of the Cardinals, like living up here, when
Yeah.
we talk about a lot of people talk about the ownership and how that works with the Seahawks. Everybody agrees that the ownership up here does what it can to put a good team on the field. Do you get the same idea down there in Arizona that they're trying from the ownership point of view?
I will say I don't really get the feeling of either one just because I'm not in the actual city that
Mhm.
the Arizona Cardinals are in. So it's like I'm sure if I was near Glendale, I'd probably be able to have a sense, but I don't really have a sense. But from what I kind of heard from other content creators that I maybe see just randomly pop up on Twitter, it seems like it's an ownership thing.
Like they're just happy to own a team and get the money that they can with it.
Yeah. What up?
What up, Jess? How you doing? Thank you. All right, so we done talking about these guys?
Yep. Moving on to the next birds. Let's see.
Yep.
No.
Nope. We are going to Chiefs West. Obviously, the Chiefs are coming off, a pretty good season where they were 12-5, went to the NFC Championship game. Matthew Stafford was the MVP, but their secondary is trash. So when they just went out and signed everybody else's secondary pieces.
And that's why he said that the Chiefs is the joke, because obviously right there, as you see, trading for a guy like Trent McDuffie, then signing Jalen Watson.
And giving McDuffie an extension.
And giving McDuffie the extension. I mean, even say like secondary-wise, bringing back Cameron Curl. I mean, honestly, like you see, it's not that like they did anything crazy big, but I mean, they did address their weakness, like we just said, with their secondary and that corner spot. So we'll see, because I know Trent McDuffie's. I feel like Trent McDuffie hasn't been the same really, but I'd say it's still an upgrade over probably what they
needed. Yeah, for what they needed, and having that being the weak spot on their team, it'd be kind of like us, be like, oh man, you know what? Our defensive line is crap. Like if we didn't have Bosa, so we went out and signed or traded for Myles Garrett type of thing. I mean, we were just overpaying just to get him in the building.
Yeah.
Some of their, like I said, Tyler Higbee, I like him. I think he'd be
I mean, that contract, I forget what the contract was, but I remember when I saw the contract, I was like, damn, that's a good salary, good deal.
Yeah, he's a solid top 10.
Yeah, and I mean, when we talk about the Niners, there's another guy that I will talk about that I think got a good deal at the tight end position.
I didn't make one for the Niners because I figured we talk about them enough.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think honestly, like they didn't make anything big, but they did bring back their guys that are pretty solid, and then obviously bringing in McDuffie, giving him the extension, and then getting Jalen Watson, which I think they're obviously still going to be a favorite here in the NFC West. So
yeah. Losing Havenstein was a pretty big loss to their offensive line. He was in like 12 years in the league. Kobe Durant. I liked Tutu Atwell, honestly, because he doesn't have the best hands, but he is so damn quick. Like I wish we had someone on our team like Tutu Atwell. Yes, he's not his hands aren't the greatest, and he drops his fair share of balls. But him just being out there, like you're like, oh shit, there's Tutu. He's going to go deep, and he's going to spread the field. Well, we'll see.
We maybe have the guy issues. He hasn't been able to stay healthy. So.
Well, even then, I mean, I know who you're speaking of. I don't think he has the pure speed that Atwell has. Atwell is pure speed. Pearsall is just good at getting separation.
No, I was not talking about Pearsall, man.
Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I forgot about that guy. Again, I forget he's on the team. He's too busy.
Anyways. Yep. So I guess you said Seattle. Cool.
So obviously Seattle is Super Bowl champions. I think losing Kenneth Walker is a bigger deal than they want to talk about.
Yeah.
Especially with Charbonnet not, tearing his ACL in the game in the playoffs against us. So obviously he's not going to be back until late in the year. They did re-sign George Holani, and even though I love that signing because he's Polynesian, I don't see him picking up that slack from Kenneth Walker, or even when they brought in Emmanuel Wilson. So we're assuming that they are definitely going to draft a running back high, because like I said, I don't think the guys they have on the roster right now is going to be able to produce what Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker did, especially early in the season when we really don't know what they're doing. Obviously,
Yeah.
they extended JSN, but that's, again, was a free agent. But I love the signing of Rashid Shaheed for them. I mean, look what he can do by himself in a game. He basically took the wind out of our sails very first play of the game.
Yeah. I think obviously they had a lot of losses. I think Kobe Bryant, he's been buoying him off. I mean, yes, I know
Boy is
Rick
big.
Woolen's been kind of inconsistent, but like Maffei's great. I even liked him coming out of the draft. Kobe Bryant, pretty solid. Kenneth Walker, we know what he can do. Now, the name's not on here because he hasn't signed, but I know that the Seahawks did have a visit with Najee Harris.
Yep.
And I believe was it the Raiders or something? I forget. There was another team that also Najee Harris visited with, but maybe the Seahawks bring in Najee Harris. But I still think, like you said, Jason, they probably draft a running back because Charbonnet, also like you said, with the ACL, they're gonna still need a second running back. So,
and even then, I
like
Najee. I don't fear Najee as I would someone like Kenneth Walker. He's not the pass receiver that Kenneth Walker is coming out of the backfield. He doesn't have that.
He doesn't have the
used
speed.
To have. Yeah, he's lost a few the last few years. Still, probably
pretty
just
sure Najee Harris is coming off a big injury too. So
I feel like he's had an injury like the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but I feel like this recent one was either an Achilles or an ACL. So that's probably also why he hasn't really signed. And it's finally, I guess, getting some interest. But
Najee Harris, 2025 injury, torn Achilles. There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're replacing a guy that's coming in with a torn Achilles to replace Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet, and then you've got George Shalani, who I like, but I don't know if
potentially bringing in,
And then Emmanuel Wilson, excuse me. We'll see. I know everybody here loves Jake Bobo. Jake Bobo here in the Pacific Northwest is our Juwan Jennings. That's exactly what he is up here. He's that hard-nosed receiver that worked his way up, and everybody loves his work ethic and everything like that. That's Jake Bobo. So it'd be like how we would react if we found out tomorrow that we re-signed Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like, I think Seattle will take a little bit of step down because also they did lose what's his name to the Raiders, and then brought in our tight ends coach as their new OC.
Oh, their coaches, yeah. Well, I don't know if I don't think he ever actually played called plays before. Our tight ends.
Because he with us, he's been tight end and like running game coordinator, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And in which the running game coordinator's been more recent. So,
you look at this, like I said, they're really not trying to replace Kenneth Walker, except for maybe the draft. We'll see how. Obviously, a lot of this opinion could change once the draft comes by, but looks like they're trying to put more of the emphasis on Sam Darnold in the passing game because obviously, they just threw $1.5 gazillion at JSN, which good for him. He earned every bit of that contract. But do you trust Sam Darnold long term? I'm not. His contract is still kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Like it's almost like they were really stand pat. They're really very confident in what they had, and they had a great roster last year. But some of these losses, it's like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. They've been drafting pretty well, so
true, 100% true. They have. The last couple of years, they've probably had the last top 5 drafts each of the last 2-3 years.
I mean, them and Rams, dude, have been killing it, and that's why we always say, "Oh, the Niners, man, they totally botched." I mean, okay, this last year's draft was pretty good, I'd say. And the year before was better than it has been, but then basically since Trey Lance, including that one, it's been bad.
Yeah, I mean, we've probably had B pluses. A B plus. Maybe you consider last year's draft an A, especially how it ended up at the end of the year. But you're talking about 1 year compared to, like you said, with the Rams and the Seahawks have been doing it for 2-3 years now. So now we're trying to play catch up.
Yeah.
I liked Larry
Yeah.
Kruger's idea that we're so bad at drafting in the first round. Fuck them picks. Just trade them for something. Since if we're not going to trade or pick it, get somebody better. Yeah, just get somebody. Buy them, basically.
Get rid of our first-round picks. I'm glad we got rid of our third-round pick, who we're going to talk about, because our third-round picks have been horrendous, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, let's jump into that, I guess. So I know you said you don't have a
I did make one for the Niners for the graphics for the free agency stuff, just simply because I figured we've all talked about it, and we've all know who, for the most part, who's come and who's gone. So that's why I didn't make one, and I figured more of the emphasis would be on what the rest of the West has done.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, we can kind of get into it, just talking about where we see the Niners now, even though we're not going to get specific. Obviously, we'll end up talking about some guys just because there's been some big signings or trades. But yeah, how do you feel about what the Niners have done in free agency, and where do you feel like
best
they could be in division?
Best free agency, the Flinch Shanahan era?
I'm trying to think. Yeah, because I know everybody liked that Hargrave one, but obviously that didn't even work out.
I remember me and you from the jump did not like that signing at all.
Yeah, I'd probably say so. I mean, they're not giving guys big money. Mike Evans, man, shout out to him, bro. He took less to come to the Niners. Everybody's like, nobody wants to come to the Niners because of the substation. Nobody wants to come play with the back party. But you can put both of those to rest because, I mean, clearly Mike Evans, a future Hall of Famer, came to the Niners and took less money. So I really like that we got a wide receiver one because that was my biggest concern. I was like, I don't want to go draft another wide receiver only and not bring in a veteran guy. So I liked that. Christian Kirk didn't mind that one either. Has a little bit of speed.
Good returner too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do some of this some of that speed stuff that we've been talking about wanting.
And then the biggest trade, dude, and some people called it. Even I was like, because one day I was looking at the defensive tackles after we lost out on John Franklin Myers. I was like, dude, this defensive tackle free agency class is literally straight garbage. And then I was like, 2 or 3. Yeah, and then we heard about Osa Digizua, how even the Cowboys were considering probably trading him in a Crosby deal or something. And I was like, you know what? It just made too much sense. The Niners brought in what's his name? Matt Eberflus into the building. So it just made so much sense. So I really liked that. I mean, I don't mind we gave up a third.
Slight overpay, maybe. You could argue that, but probably about the middle of last season and then up until we signed Osa, my biggest push was we have no pressure up the middle. Even any quarterback will tell you that the pressure that they get up the middle is more, bothers a quarterback more than what you can bring on edges. And I know everybody's screaming edge, 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 edge. And the whole time I'm screaming, no, we need something from the inside. But Scott, the two guys we brought last year, CJ West and Alfred Collins, are not meant, at least at this point in their career, to be speed rushers from their main job is to hold down the middle, not let anybody run. And like I said, they got better at it as the year, as the year went on. So that definitely shows promise. But again, like I said, I had screamed and everybody was like, you don't know what you're talking about. You just shut up, blah, blah, blah. That I was like, we have no pressure coming from the middle, except for maybe once or twice a game where, someone like Alfred Collins or somebody could get up there. But it wasn't anybody that could do it on a consistent basis. And honestly, if we did not draft an edge player this draft, which we're going to, but I'm saying if we had kept Bryce Huff and that, that whole team and that whole edge room came back, I would have been perfectly happy with what we had. I feel the inside pressure takes off would have caused so much more pressure or disruption to quarterbacks and everything else that then you free up guys like Bryce Huff to make more of the impact. Him, Sam Okawanu, all those guys. Michael,
Yeah.
obviously Bosa. We get a little bit, just something from the middle. Those guys thrive even better. So like I said, I love the thing with Osa more than, like I said, even with the Mike Evans and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you in terms of we needed pressure in the middle because that way you don't let quarterbacks stuff up in the pocket and extend plays. And so bringing a guy like Osa, who he doesn't have the crazy sack numbers, but at defensive tackle, beside Aaron Donald and the guy on the Chiefs, why can't I think of his name?
Chris Jones.
Yeah, Chris Jones is who rarely ever has crazy amount of sacks in the interior.
There's
and
2 or 3 guys a generation
always
that can do it.
Yeah. And Osa always ends up bringing pressure. Maybe with our defensive line coach Chris Kasurk, maybe he's able to finish a little bit more. But at least Osa's been near the top of bringing pressure and disrupting the quarterback. So I thought that was good. I do disagree with you. I'm sorry, though, on the edge. I think the Niners still needed edge. I like Michael Williams. I get Bosa's coming back, but Michael Williams right now, man, I know he showed some flashes of pass rush, but right now he's definitely better.
But that's not his main job. That's not his main job. Michael's main job is to set the end opposite Bosa, and he was doing that fine.
So then they need to get a guy that's more of a pass rushing specialist.
But again,
to rotate.
That's where if Bryce Huff didn't retire and was still a part of this team. Again, if.
I actually don't know because it felt like they could have been cutting him still if.
Yeah, it's the money wise with that. But Bryce Huff, we overplayed him last year. He's not supposed to be playing as much as he did. As just a pure pass rusher and passing downs, he would have been so much better.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
We can't, when you're down to your 9th, D tackle and 7th D end, what do you, it's like, okay, you're going to play more. We didn't pay you. We're not want you to play this much, but tough it up.
Yeah, I think they're gonna still go get an edge and a wide receiver, probably in
now
this
without
draft.
him going, 100%.
Also,
it's going to
the
be
next
edge
thing
wide
is,
receiver first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I think so. Last time I checked, we still have no resolution on Mr. Silverback.
It's probably we're probably either gonna get something crazy happen at the draft, and I really hope that doesn't happen. Or it's going to happen, the week before training camp or the week before the season opens kind of thing. They're going to be boarding the plane to Australia and he'll sign his contract. That's just what Trent does.
Yeah. The part that's actually going to probably happen during the draft a little bit more likely would be the Brandon Ayuk thing.
Yeah.
Because that's when they're like, oh, if they can get something, it's probably going to happen. Then otherwise, they're just going to end up cutting him.
I don't give a damn about the Niners being petty and holding on to Ayuk. I really don't.
No, I don't either. I mean, what he did to us, you're not going to get that money till after June 1st anyways.
Yeah, just hold on.
Let him be. We know he's going to the Commanders. Just hold on to him. Don't give him enough time to, go.
Find a house and get comfortable. No, we're just going to hold on to you till I'm fair. Like I said, and I'm petty enough that I wouldn't even release him. Just let him sit there.
I'm not mad if the Niners, especially again, because if it was a different thing where it was usually in contracts June 1st better for the most part. But let's say this was a friendly contract and it didn't matter. It's you still hold on to him. But it's I'm sorry. Okay, maybe you don't hold on to him even though you want to be petty just because money-wise it doesn't really matter. But in this case, when it's post June 1st, you're getting the money after June 1st anyways. So it's why not just hold on to him now? Because, again, you're not going to get the money right now. So
we are almost at 50-cent levels of pettiness, and I'm loving it right now.
Yeah.
So, but, like I said, I'm not worried about Trent. He either plays or he gets paid and he'll play. This is You can pretty much almost go back every other year with Trent. This is just what Trent does.
Yeah.
We always talk about how much we want players to get their money because you have a finite window for making money in this league. Trent Williams is one of the few players who's like, look, yeah, I'm playing for money and I'm setting up my family for generational wealth. I have no problem with Trent Williams doing this.
Yeah. I mean, I'm annoyed with it because it happens every year, but I get it from his perspective. So
From him with his talents and what he can, he can
yeah.
get paid for it. Well, I back Trent 100%. I don't give a damn.
No, that's what I mean. I'm annoyed with it because it's like, damn it, every year. But I'm not annoyed at Trent because I get it. Future Hall of Famer, get your bag. It's just the Niners know this is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like still.
I'm more annoyed at the fact that we have, at least to us that don't, are outside the building, we're just throwing shit at a dartboard. It seems like we have absolutely no idea. We have no plan for what's going to. What if Trent decides, wakes up tomorrow, but you know what? I really am done, and he very well could
Yeah.
be. And just be like, hey, look, man, I'm tired. I hurt. I don't want to do this again this year. He could very well do that tomorrow for all we fucking know. It's like, hey, I'm retiring. Bye. What is the plan behind him? That's my biggest issue. Is like, why does it seem like we have absolutely nothing in the pipeline?
Is it because we think, oh, now we can go find another left tackle to trade for?
Yeah. What are we going to do? Trade for what's his name from the Sewell? Penei Sewell, just randomly from the Lions or something like that. We're going to trade for Tristan Wirf randomly. It was like that's a once in a lifetime trade. You get one of those.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. And it's not like you have a top 10 pick because otherwise you're not getting a top tackle, in a draft anyways. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hopefully that happens pretty soon. But I think we'll get into the top 30 visits, and then I think we'll end it off with our thoughts on 49ers week 1, just because I know you have the top 30 visits ready here. So let me pull that up. So before we kind of get into it, for just that reminder, basically the 49ers and the rest of the NFL are allowed to have 30 players come to their building, come to their facility, and basically do whatever. And so the reason we like these is because, especially with the Niners, we know they at least draft 2 guys from their top 30, like someone that they had a top 30 visit with. I mean, guys like Jacob Cowing was a top 30 visit. Michael Williams was a top 30 visit. I believe Mustafa was a top 30 visit. I know Burford, when he was here, was a top 30 visit. The once in a kind of rare chance, like a Ricky Pearsall, they didn't have a top 30 visit, but they did meet with him. I think it was during the Combine and maybe the Senior Bowl. So that's why we always are like, okay, these top 30 visits, you kind of want to pay attention to. Now, there's not a lot of guys right now. I mean, there's been reports of guys that they've been met with, but they're not like the top 30 visits. So we should be getting them pretty soon because we're a month away from the draft or so. Yeah, we're just going to kind of talk about the guys that they have so far. So first off, we've got KC Concepcion out of Texas A&M. What are your kind of thoughts with that one?
I like Concepcion and the idea that I think he would thrive in this offense. A little worried about his hands. He's got some little bit of an issue with dropsies, but maybe he can fix on that. But I mean, his explosive,
on the jugs machine.
Yep, the versatility of him is what is so intriguing. I mean, the negative of him is just that he's kind of just that quote unquote gadget guy. But I don't think it's necessarily the gadget. He can line up so many different positions and do so many different things. He would be your new Debo replacement kind of a situation where you could just put him all over the place and use him however you want to use him.
Yeah. Also, he has the return capability, and we know Like, I was surprised we didn't bring back Sky Moore, but then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, Kyle Shanahan wants a guy that's not just a special teamer.
Yeah.
So that's why guys like Cowing, Pierce will try to get a chance. Bergens, I mean, when I think of Junior Bergens, I think the total opposite of what Kyle Shanahan doesn't want, because I don't see him doing anything on offense and only being a special teamer. So I could see Casey Concepcion kind of, that would make sense, even though it didn't work out great with a guy like Dante Pettis. But that was a while ago, so I wouldn't hate it if the Niners, tried it out again, just because they also do need that speed ability. And the Niners
Yeah.
have said they need to get faster. So I wouldn't hate it.
That also puts him in the same position as Christian Kirk. That
Yeah.
to where you've got that wide receiver / punt return specialist kind of guy. So do we want two of those kind of thing? But again, and then again, speed. He is fast as hell.
I mean, Christian Kirk's on a 1-year deal. At least this
Well,
guy
yeah,
would
yeah.
have him on the 4-year,
Yeah.
rookie contract. So I wouldn't hate it. Not my favorite guy, honestly. Then the
Not of
next
these
guy,
four.
yeah. Then we've got Omar Cooper Jr. From Indiana. Um, I like him. I mean, again, he's not as fast as Concepcion, but he still has some of that speed. Solid route runner. Like the hands.
I feel he is the
Wouldn't
most
hate it.
well-rounded of these three receivers. You know what I mean? He's not the fastest. He's not the biggest. He's not this. He's got really good hands. And I think one thing, especially watching this last year of Indiana football, if you watch any of their games, the one thing is with him, he's not afraid of the big games. And he almost seems to play better in the big games. When it's clutch and you need to make a play, he's the one they went to. And he came through damn near every single time. So clutch-wise, like, so you put these three wide receivers and we're doing a triple spread kind of thing, and we have to have 7 yards for first down, more than likely Epps is the one that's going to get it.
Yeah.
Cooper. I don't know why I said Epps. Epps is the other guy I was thinking of.
Yeah. So I mean, I really wouldn't mind Omar Cooper Jr. The next guy is Denzel Boston, who's been more of the most recent top 30 visit of Washington. I'm gonna bring up this guy, but I'm obviously not trying to say he's a Hall of Famer already. But I'm gonna bring up Mike Evans because he has that physicality, kind of that like frame of the contested kind of guy. And this guy to me would be perfect because essentially Mike Evans, if you think about it, is really on a 1-year deal.
Technically, yes,
and
he
so a
is.
guy like Denzel Boston would be perfect to have behind, and have Mr. Mike Evans, future Hall of Famer, teach him. So I wouldn't mind this one.
Mike Evans would be the Emmanuel Sanders to Denzel Boston, like to Debo kind of a situation. You know what I mean? Like you said, they're almost a mirror of each other. They're both physical, big bodied receivers. They're good. They've got enough speed. They're going to go down. They can stretch the field. They're going to jump up. They've got the arm length. They go up for those contested balls. They come down. I've watched a lot of Boston. Obviously, I live up here, not too far from you, in the UW area. I love everything this kid brings to the game, and I think, like you said, learning behind someone like Mike Evans, who he's probably modeled his game off of, you're not going to get a better, mentor than someone who plays the game like you do and has been, like I said, a Hall of Famer, someone who's done 1,000 years, 11 years in a row. It's just that feels like the home run hit to get Denzel Boston onto this team, and just obviously he'd probably maybe not play as much as we want him to play, but he'd get enough playing time. And like I said, then you said we can get rid of cut Mike Evans next year or the year after, even because it's just, and I don't know, just everything says yes to Denzel Boston to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I'd probably say my ranking. Probably say Omar Cooper Jr., Denzel Boston, and Casey Concepcion. How about you?
I'd go Boston, Cooper, Concepcion.
Okay. Yeah. And then the last guy is Texas Tech defensive end Romello Height. I haven't watched this guy at all, so I'm not gonna lie. I don't really know much about him, but I know some people like him.
I know one of the things people have said about him is that because he's played for 4 separate schools, maybe there's an issue there, but also with the way guys jump around schools.
Mm,
I don't know how much, but I know, but like, if you had told me 10 years ago he played for 4 separate schools, I'd be like, ooh, he's got some character issues or something along those lines. But with the way the NIL has changed college football and everything, I don't think it's
Yeah.
necessarily that. He could just be jumping schools because they offered him more money, kind of thing situation now. So I don't know about that with him, but I know that would have been a red flag to me, like I said, 5-10 years ago. Now, not so much.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like,
well, it's like,
yeah, I mean, like if you're going around schools, I'd kind of want to know the reason. And like you said, NILs taking over the college game so much. I mean, I kind of know it with my basketball team over here. So
okay. Yeah, it's even worse in basketball than it is in football.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, honestly.
Hey, again, just like with Trent, go get your money, gentlemen. That's all I can say. You don't know what's going to happen to you. You're one injury away from never being able to barely walk again in your life. Get your money. I ain't mad at you.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't mind this. I'm interested to see who else we end up bringing in at the top 30 visits. Again, we should be getting those in the next, like, basically till the draft. Yeah.
So do you think with our first 2 round draft picks, do you think we're going wide receiver, defensive end, or vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff also is like a smoke screen, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously that things can kind of change. But when I look at the needs and kind of what the Niners did in free agency, edge I definitely see as something, and then wide receiver I would be shocked again just because Mike Evans is basically on a 1-year deal, and then Christian Kirk's on a 1-year deal, and you just don't know what's up with like a guy like Ricky Pearsall. So you kind of need that, and Jawan Jennings is still out there. So
man, poor Jawan, betting on himself and is just coming up short right now.
I'm not surprised though, because either he's been asking for too much, or it's probably like I just think he fits with only certain teams.
Yeah, I think there's maybe 10 teams he fits on, and those 10 teams are set at wide receivers already because they have their Jawan Jennings type of player already.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he showed up in our training camp randomly. Hey, okay, fine, I'll come in for the minimum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just imagine Jawan Jennings and Mike Evans blocking downfield. That would just be like they are running over every running back or DB that they come across. Just 2 of them just lined up shoulder to shoulder, man. And then throw Kittle in there. Oh man, that is some blockers right down the field.
Yeah. Speaking of running back, well, have fun drafting for the Atlanta Falcons. Hopefully you don't draft the wrong Robinson.
Not again. But I do like the Falcons find Brian Robinson to go with.
That's a good one.
Let's just hope Brian Robinson actually gets more carries this year.
Yeah.
Or next year, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else?
Not on these ones. Like I said, I don't pay as much attention as I probably should to the top 30 visits and guys like that because I think, like you said earlier, a lot of this is just smokescreen. They're just looking to see, okay, say the Seahawks are really going hardcore onto Denzel Boston, so they're like, okay, let's see what do we know, what can we get on him on a visit, which could be something. Like I said, so I don't pay attention to these as like I said, probably should pay attention more to them, but I don't.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I pay attention to them just because there's some history there where it's like, the Niners have drafted quite a bit from the top 30, but then obviously some of it's also smoke. So, and you're not obviously getting everyone, but you're not.
Yeah, I
You
saw
don't. No
someone
one
really
ever has
sick.
30 picks. So.
Someone posted all the list of it. Okay, so this is put out by Niner Stats. How much do top 30 visits matter to the 49ers? And look at who they've drafted after having visits with them since 2022. In 2022, Drake Jackson, Danny Gray, TDP, Spencer Burford, and Kalia Davis. 2023, Jair Brown, Cam Latu, Darrell Luter, Braden Willis, Jalen Grab. 2024,
Terrible
Dominic
picks.
Pooney. Right, right. It's like, what do you guys see when you visit them? 2024, Pooney, Cowing, Bethune, Evan Anderson. And then last year, it was Jordan Watkins and Michael Williams.
Mustafa was in the top 30?
No, he was. Did I not say him?
Uh,
Oh, no, I did not.
hear
No.
you. Yeah, okay. Yes, I mean, then even whatever we want to say, if they've worked out or not, the Niners, I think, put a good amount on it. Because I mean, yeah, if you're only able to bring in 30 guys and you want to get the most out of the information, you'd obviously bring in some guys you're interested in to draft. So, yep. Yeah, so I like to see them just again because I think they do have some meaning. But yeah, if we are good to done talking about this, we can end it off with the final topic. The 49ers are officially playing in Australia on September 11th at 10:35 a.m. Australia time, but really for us on September 10th at 5:35 p.m. So
we are
honestly,
166 days away from the start of 49ers football.
Yeah, I honestly am actually happy that it's early on in the season so they can just get it out of the way. And like, you know, they once the roster's set, they go, they get ready for it. It's like they only worry about that game and then they come back.
And it's not that bad. Like, so they'll leave. You would think they'd leave within a few hours after the game on Friday. They'll be back Sunday. And then they have the rest of the week to, you would hope, but the NFL would screw the Niners and the Rams for that matter with this. And you would hope they'd give both teams home games that next week. But I wouldn't be surprised if we were playing like the Dolphins or something like that the next week kind of thing. But it's like, come on, don't screw us over, or make the next week the Mexico game or something stupid like that. I wouldn't put it past the NFL.
Yeah. But I'm at least glad as of now, like it's just the first week, get it out of the way.
Could you imagine they're going in week 12 to Australia? That would that'd be terrible. That would be absolutely terrible.
That'd be horrendous.
But again, I wouldn't put it past the NFL to try that at some point.
Yeah. I mean, okay, going to Mexico isn't as bad.
No, it's like going to the East Coast.
Yeah, exactly. So if they did Mexico like that late, I wouldn't hate it. So I'm at least glad that this Australia game is week 1 and early, basically. So
I feel like the Mexico game was like halfway through the season when we did it.
Well, so I remember it was like November because I remember it was during Thanksgiving week on a Monday night because I remember I was flying to like Austin, I think. So I was gonna be doing Thanksgiving with my cousin, and I literally remember watching that game on the plane. So I'm pretty sure it was a Monday night.
Yep. Okay, so it was November 21st, 2022. So yep, you're right. It was right, right then. I mean, like I said, it's not. That's what a 3.5, 4-hour flight kind of thing. It's just like going to the East Coast. The biggest issue is going to Mexico City is the elevation. That it'd be like going to Denver for the elevation. Actually, I think it's higher than Denver.
Yeah, but I agree. So we'll see what they do, but I'm at least it's good that they put this game early. On in the
God, I wish I can go to this game so bad. Going to Australia.
Yeah. No.
I know Chapman is putting together what's probably going to be the
Yep.
greatest tailgate thing he's ever done. Going to Australia.
Yeah.
He was like, "Man, if I had the money."
Yeah, but if I had the money, but I also have money saved up for trips that I'm already going on, or
Yeah,
one's like I have to go on, and then one's like I'm going on as a grad
yeah.
trip with friends. So. What up, Jean?
What up, my dude? How you doing there, brother? What's up, Boost?
Haven't seen you in forever. Hope you're doing well, man.
Joe, we gotta get a game this year, man. You're not too far from me. But yeah, I can't wait for this. Like I said, my little Steve Irwin thing, wrestling the Gator, the Niners jersey, and all that. So.
Yeah. Yep. Alrighty. I think that is it. Not much
Not much else, man.
Nice little short stream. Honestly, kind of glad there isn't much else.
Yeah, like I said, it'll quiet down for about a week or so here. We're gonna have everybody doing the same 5 drafts over and over and over again with our mock drafts, because they're getting a little redundant at this point. Even I'm getting a little tired of doing them, but I'm still gonna do them.
But, at this point, I don't got the time, and I don't even if I did have some time, I don't even think I would, because it's like every year I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go watch these guys, and it's like half of them aren't even gonna be with the Niners. I'll go actually watch the tape on the guys we draft.
Yeah, I just like to see if we can guess one or two. We've gotten lucky in a few.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Somehow I got like Jalen Moore right that one year.
We got
Cowing.
I know what's his name, Stout right last year.
Oh, cool, nice.
I forget who we were doing a stream randomly, and someone came in that was like, "Hey, look it up in Stout." It was just the most random person that came in. I remember because he came in on our live, and I was like, "All right, let me take a look at him." And then I remember after our stream, I was like, "All right, let's see what this guy's all about." And I was like, "Whoa, this guy's actually really damn good."
Yeah. Anyway, heck it, we draft him, so.
Yep.
But alrighty.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. It's on a Friday night. What you got the rest of the weekend?
Just relax. Finally done with midterms, so yeah, I'm about to go eat and just relax.
I got a bunch of adulting. Twice a year, we're allowed to bring all our like big trash to the dump and dump it. So the truck is loaded.
I will have to do some adulting tomorrow, though, aka taxes.
Dude, I filed my taxes in January and got my tax return already before the IRS closed down. So I've already got my tax return and spent it. What's up, Throwback? How you doing, Oos?
Look, Throwback.
Yeah, like
Catching
I got
us
mine.
On the out, but appreciate that.
I think I got mine like the beginning of the month. So do your taxes in January, people. You get them back hella early before everybody does a scramble.
Yeah. Well, my dad's kind of doing them, but I'm giving him the information. So.
Oh, okay. That's like I do my own because I don't qualify for. I don't make enough money to where I jump up in tax bracket, so I can do them for free. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, so we'll get this going. Get going to the draft.
Yep. Yeah, I probably won't be doing too many shows just because it's like what I hate about the draft being like in April is I literally finish like school, I think May 8th. So it's just like the worst timing because it's like, dude,
I like the draft because after the draft, besides training camp, I don't do nothing.
Nah, fair enough.
Because like I take my 2-month break and I literally don't do a show unless something crazy shows up. So I'm like, oh, the only bad part
unless something like Brandon Ayuk shows up or something.
Yeah. The only bad part about it is that my wife knows that there's nothing really to talk about in those 2 months because she's also a football fan, and so she gives me this big old honey-do list. Is she a Niners fan too, or? No, she is not. She's a cheesehead. Look, You can see the one thing I told her she could have up there.
Okay, right.
I was like, you can have, because that's her, that's her desk and her computer. I was like, you can have one thing in the stream, and that's all you get. Like, she wanted to put another Packers flag. I was like, no, you get one little thing. Because we have, this is supposed to be my room. This is my stream room and gaming room and all that. And then she has a room where she does all her crafts with the resin and crochet and everything. But she has so much stuff in there from all her crafts. It just started getting too packed. I was like, all right, I will allow you to put your desk in here with your computer so that you can get some more room in there. But you're not going to, because her room has a bunch of Packer stuff up. I was like, you're not putting Packer shit up in here. But you can get one thing. That's her one thing.
As much as you beat us, that's as many things you get in this room.
Yes. Yeah.
Alrighty, appreciate the few people that were stomping on by.
Yep. Thank you very much, everybody.
Probably people watching March Madness and doing other things. So
Yep, everybody else is chilling. Only us crazy ones keep going and keep doing content.
Yep, I'll be stressing tomorrow. So
go Duke.
Dude, I was so mad because they were gonna lose.
They were
freaking calm back, bro. And I had
they brought it back, and I was like,
no, and two people in my bracket have Duke winning it all, and so I'm like, I want them out today so that they get screwed.
That game, I was like, ooh, what was going on here? But they pulled it out.
Yeah, and obviously I got my team winning it, but I think we have a good shot too. So.
But all right, brother, it's good seeing you, talking to you again. We'll definitely have to do this again, probably before the draft and obviously during the draft.
Yep, for sure. Alrighty.
All right, everybody. Fa Fatai, Tele Lava. One love.